This is Smackdown Live. I'm going to leave a connection below to the state of the WWE, should you trust it. The reason I'm doing that is because of my understanding and my feeling about this show going into the pay-per-view Evolution. So let's boil this down before I get into the show. Let's boil this down to what this really is. Did this show hype you for Evolution? No. Would it make you interested in Evolution? No. Should you be interested in Evolution? No. Now mind you, I'm going to make this clear. Will there be good matches on Evolution? Probably yes. There might be nearly 3 or 4 easy matches. If they're allowed to go, will be a great match. I'm not going to say who's in it because I'm not going to do a prediction. I'm just not in the mood for that. But if you're going to be honest here, there's easily going to be 3, 4, maybe 5 matches on Evolution that might or will be good if the women are allowed to really go. But it doesn't make a difference. Having 3 or 4, maybe 5 matches on a show that might have 10 matches across the card, not talking about a kickoff show if there is one, doesn't mean anything. You only have how many rivalries? 2. 2 rivalries. Now I know people are going to say NXT. That doesn't count. Because that's a developmental brand. And Evolution is supposed to be more for the main roster than it is for the developmental. They touted this. Well, not touted. They advertised this as something to really show SmackDown and Raw and the great potential and the great things they have on it. Yes, they'll say something about NXT. And maybe they'll have a couple of matches from NXT. But in the end, this was not about NXT. Even though that is where the revolution started. This is about the main roster. And there's nothing there. So when you look at this show, they tried to hype it. They tried to so hard. You got Shane McMahon coming out to try and hype it. But in the end, it means nothing. And that sucks. But let's move on to the rest of the show. Now, I'm sure people are going to say, well, this show was really good. And there were parts that were okay. But it doesn't really change the fact this wasn't about making a good show. This is about hyping the next pay-per-view, which is supposed to be the first one of its kind for this company. Having a good show means nothing if it's not going to hype the pay-per-view that's supposed to be so special connected to it, which meant nothing. So this show was okay, but it didn't really mean anything. Now, you had New Day coming out, and I really didn't care about last week. Not one bit. Yes, I was glad that the Bar won. But then when you had Big Show in once New Day came out and they're saying they're pissed off about what happened with New Day. And Biggie said it himself. You don't know what the hell you're talking about when it comes to the Big Show. He flips around like a pancake. They actually said what many people realize is dumb. Having Big Show flip from face to heel so many times makes them feel empty. So what did we get? We got a match after that. I know I could say a lot more about it, but I'm not going to. You got a match. And it's Kofi who wanted to have some type of justice against one of the 3. You thought it was going to be Sheamus, but it's Big Show. Big Show destroys him. And that was it. There wasn't really any type of importance to that match. There was no real finishing to the match. Kofi gets nailed by Big Show. Then everyone else got their ass kicked by Big Show. And a few others, in other words, Cesaro and Sheamus did do a little bit of work. But it was mostly, well, actually I should take that back because Big Show looked tanked early. He is really out of it. That's just me. The guy is maybe about a year or 2 younger than I am. And he looked a bit too tanked too easily. He's a big guy, yes, but come on. You would think that he worked on his cardio maybe at the Performance Center to get back into some good shape. Nope. He just looked tanked. So yes, he did some heavy lifting and taking Kofi, but then didn't really seem like he did much. He looked tired after maybe 2 minutes of work. That didn't look good. Now, okay. Usos versus AJ and Daniel Bryan. Look, the tag match was really good. But here's the problem. What are the Usos doing? Nothing. Are they in the tag title division? No. They're a plot device for AJ and Daniel Bryan. I repeat that again. They are a plot device for AJ and Daniel Bryan. And I'm definitely sure that we're going to have another possible match or matches, because there's a good possibility that they're going to have Jey Uso against AJ and Jimmy Uso against Daniel Bryan, or vice versa. They keep this interest. So that means the Uso are a plot device, which angers the frack out of me. Now, mind you, is it important to have them be a plot device? Yes. Particularly once that interview happened after the match, and pretty much Daniel Bryan is saying that AJ's lying because he's doing the little, as you can see in my face, Daniel Bryan is saying that AJ's lying and he's mocking him like he's Pinocchio. Now, here's the thing. For me personally, I want to know what happened to The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Did we get something substantial with them? No. The last match they had was so damn short, it didn't mean anything. And I've said this multiple times. Daniel Bryan has not struggled. It's boring with him. They were supposed to make this special, and in honesty, they didn't. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, yeah, they did, because Daniel Bryan had to rise to adversity. When? Tell me when. Sorry for the honking. Tell me when he rose to adversity against Big Cass, who, yeah, kicked his ass a couple of times until it was time for a real match. And he tapped out twice. And when it came to The Miz, who didn't beat him clean. And other times he won. And that's Daniel Bryan. So I just don't see anything interesting there. Mind you, this is better than The Miz and Daniel Bryan feud. And that's sad. Sad. And I'm saying it now. It's sad to see that. They can still do something tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. Next year, before WrestleMania, to make it interesting. But as it stands, Daniel Bryan is boring. Now, the Charlotte situation. What happened at the Performance Center. What happened with Becky Lynch at the Performance Center. Did Charlotte talk well? Charlotte talks as Charlotte talks. Of course, they're going to do what they're going to do. I really wasn't interested in what Charlotte said. Doesn't mean it wasn't relevant what she said. I'm just not interested in Charlotte. It's when Becky came out, which made better sense, because shouldn't it have been Becky Lynch that should have came in front of the Performance Center? Well, the people from the Mae Young Classic who were at the Performance Center. And I saw my Yen. Hey, baby. I love me, my Jade. I love you. You're so gorgeous. But anyway, shouldn't have been Becky Lynch there instead of Charlotte. Seeing Becky Lynch there made perfect sense. Because they're pushing Charlotte and Becky Lynch is secondary. Becky Lynch had the perfect right to be there, to complain about it, and pretty much say, you know what, don't trust anybody because they'll stab you in the back. And then Becky starts fighting with Charlotte. Charlotte starts fighting with Becky. And in the end, we still have one of the two women rivalries that we got. This is it. The only one of the two rivalries we have for women going into Evolution. And that's sad. That's shit. I say it again. It's shit. Why would they do this after 4 freaking months? It's a joke. Now, we're going to talk about the next match for the women. You got Asuka and Naomi versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. No match. Just everyone that's going to be in the freaking Battle Royal beating up on each other. Really didn't make it special. It wasn't to the fact that this hasn't happened before with the men. It's that for the last 4 months, instead of them doing something, they've done nothing for the women. 4 months of build, no build. That makes no sense, because this made no sense. This didn't matter. You got 4 months of material that you could have given the women, and they have nothing, so this didn't mean anything. Now, let's move on to another thing that was meaningless. Rusev versus Aiden English. Let me get this straight. Rusev and Aiden English were doing so well. You stick Lana there. Then someone decided, let's start breaking them up. So Lana would be the problem between the two. You break them up by a very stupid way of saying that, and it has been done before, but still, in this situation, Aiden English shouldn't have been doing that. And now, instead of trying to make a good payout, maybe at Crown Jewel, maybe, you not end it now. You have Rusev destroy him so quickly, put the accolade on him. Where was the payoff for Rusev? There was none. Where was the payoff for Aiden English? There wasn't one. In the end, the only person that had something was Lana. And even then, Lana doesn't really mean much. Lana may be the best to Rusev, but he's not. And she's not the best now. Because now they're going right back where they started. This is what it comes down to. Rusev and Lana are back to square one. The only real traction they had was Aiden English. And now it's gone. What a waste. Miz TV with Rey Mysterio. Now, I did enjoy this segment. I did enjoy it. The Miz is just the best talker in the company. He just is. I know other people say someone else. For me, it's The Miz. The Miz is the best talker they have. The day he leaves that company, either because of injury or he just says, I'm done. I don't need you anymore. I can go off and do movies. I can just retire because I got enough money for my wife and me. Or I'm just too old to continue to compete. And I didn't want to say that, but it's the truth. Once he gets to a certain age, he's going to say, I'm done, I'm stopping. They will lose the best talker they have unless they have him stay as a manager. Then you got Rey Mysterio, who, I got to say this, I've missed Rey. I always liked Rey. He's not one of my favorite wrestlers, but I always liked him. And in this situation, when The Miz pretty much says, you know what, when it comes down to it, I'm going to win. Because I know you're here for a certain reason. I'm going to win at Crown Jewel. I'm going to win the World Cup. And I'm going to be the best there is. And you're nothing. And Rey pretty much says, I'm sorry. You know what? I made a mistake. I thought it was supposed to be on Truth TV. And the crowd was cheering for R-Truth and Truth. You see how much R-Truth is over with the crowd. Truth TV is not going to be seen much, but it's still going to be cheered for. It may even turn into a meme. So, in the end, we have a little exchange between them, and then we got the match of the night, which is with Rey and The Miz. And it was the match of the night for me personally. It was the best match I saw. In the end, Rey wins. I didn't expect him not to win. And I gotta say this, the man looked freaking jacked. The man, when I last saw him, almost 5 years ago, looked chubby. He looked thick. And I'm not talking about thick, like someone had bulked up and became just jacked and muscle. He just looked fat. Now he's slendered down and he is cut. Probably did P90 or something to get into that shape. He looked good. In the end, I got no problem with this match. I'm fine with it. Yes, it's to see the people going into the World Cup. Yeah, but you know what? It's okay. It had to happen. Now, let's see here. Oh, almost forgot. Asuka was one that shined in that fight they had with all the women. Feel sorry for Asuka. Now, last but not least, if I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Randy Orton versus Jeff. Now, I said earlier that Shane McMahon came out. Well, I don't think I did say it earlier. That might have been another video and I was messing up so much because I was getting frustrated. I'll give you like this. Shane McMahon comes out, tries to hype Evolution and Crown Jewel. He did a better job at Evolution. No, actually I'm reversed. He did a better job at Crown Jewel trying to hype the World Cup, saying that the blue team should win, than Evolution. Yeah, he gave women praise, and I understand he did. And that pink tie does look pretty good on him. He looked cool. But in the end, it didn't give Evolution anything. This was a good match. In the end, you got Randy Orton winning over Jeff Hardy. No one comes out to bother them. No Shinsuke Nakamura. No nothing. Just Jeff and, well, a very vicious Randy Orton. He was vicious. At one point, he was whacking Jeff Hardy's head up against the steps. I don't think I got a shot at that. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it. But in the end, it was an okay show. Doesn't mean it was a great one. Okay. Average. This show was not meant to be a great show. This was supposed to hype the pay-per-view. And I said it before and I'll say it again. There was no hype. The pay-per-view is trash. Now mind you, as I said in the beginning of this video, in the beginning of this review, you're going to see some good matches on the pay-per-view. Maybe 4, maybe 3 or 4, maybe even up to 5 matches. But in the end, the women gained nothing from this pay-per-view because of 4 months of no build going into the pay-per-view. I may even use that as this title. 4 months, no build for pay-per-view. Because that's what you get. No matter if this is Raw or Smackdown. What do you actually got? 2 real feuds. And then you're going to have Trish Stratus, Lita versus Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. That's not a feud. That's not a feud. The best for business frenemies, or whatever they called themselves, that's just garbage. I'm telling you right now, Evolution is not going to succeed. And that hurts me so bad that the women gain nothing. But this is just my point of view. I don't want to think about Evolution, and I'm going to watch it. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping not only we'll get good matches, then we'll get something extra. But honestly, I see nothing for the pay-per-view. But have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.